Right. So, what we have discussed in the last session about what are the different types of applications you have.
Mm-hmm.
We discussed even about standalone applications, client server,
Right. Two-tier, three-tier applications. Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yes.
So, those are the types of applications. To run those applications, whatever the design we have created so far.
Mm-hmm.
In the design, we require some architectures to be inbuilt. That's
Okay.
where actually we discussed about, means the last session discussed about single tier architecture, two tier, three tier,
Right.
right? So we
Mm-hmm.
discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And today we are going to discuss about what are the different architect roles, because developing an architecture, nothing but creating a technical roadmap for any of the project is important. Technical roadmap creation is important.
Okay, so.
In this regard, so when there is any technical roadmap we are creating,
Mm-hmm.
make sure for any project, whatever the solution was identified, that has to be designed first. So
Okay.
that design, which normally we call it as system analysis design. Okay, is system analysis design.
Mm-hmm.
So usually systems analysis design will be classified into two parts. One is high level design, second is low level design.
Okay.
High level design, what is that finally we wants to achieve? That is what something which we call it as high level design stands for.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the low level design means how many programs you are writing. For example, we are developing some core banking application.
Mm-hmm.
How many programs we want to write in that? At the same time, what are the algorithms are being used for that, right? So what are the design patterns we have used?
Mm-hmm.
All these things are comes under the low level design.
Okay.
So that comparison I will tell you later.
Mm-hmm.
Design is what something for any project visually we have to create. But when
Okay.
we are creating a design, it is always important for us to understand about what are the different architect roles will be there.
Mm-hmm.
General perception for us is architect means one. Okay. Because there is no one architect role you see in the field of IT.
Mm-hmm.
We see
Okay.
roles of architects because for every specialization, you require architect as separate.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, this we classify into four different parts. One is business oriented, second is developer oriented, third one operations oriented, followed by vendor oriented. Right. So architect roles we classify into four different parts.
Okay.
Business oriented, nothing but the kind of business functionalities. All these things are comes under the business oriented part.
Okay.
So enterprise architects and chief architects will be part of business oriented. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what is meant by enterprise architect? Hope you might have heard about a word called TOGAF.
No
TOGAF.
idea.
TOGAF is enterprise architecture framework. I'll give you a scenario, the importance of enterprise architecture first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we are going to develop some core banking application to one of our customer who is in banking domain. Now, if you are a solution provider, we want to develop some solution for a particular project, which is called core banking. So what are the things you need to consider? There are few things we have to consider. The first one, let me write down here. There are 4 points we need to consider. First one, process. Second, systems, applications, and data. Right? Four things. Right? So process. Process means what business process they do in their business. Okay, this is the first one. For example, we are going to develop a core banking application. Whom we are developing this? This is that we are developing for a banking client. Okay.
Mhm.
So first we should understand what banks do. So normally banks take deposits from the customers
Mhm.
and as to that they will provide some interest for that.
Right.
Banks will issue some loans, whoever they want, etc. Right. So these are the couple of activities which banks do. Am I right?
Right.
Right. So first we need to understand the process. Do remember before you are trying to develop the kind of solutions and all everything, this is what something which we should understand. So
Okay.
first we need to understand the process. What exactly the process which team is following, which organization is following, that we have to understand. This is what generally we call this process. Means we want to know about their business, what exactly their business is, and what are all the people involved in it. For example, if it's a business, which is a banking and which is a service oriented,
Mhm.
two kind of people are involved. One is employees of a bank will be using the application. The other one is clients. Clients nothing but customers, whoever is having accounts in the bank.
Mhm.
Example, we are managing service, say savings account and all. Customers will be there. Customers may require some online banking application to manage their banking transactions without coming to the home branch, etc. All that.
Right. Mhm.
So, process we should understand before we are developing or understanding about enterprise architecture, business oriented. The first one about understanding the process. And do remember, this is not something I'm specifying for a bank. You can relate this to a retail company or
Mhm.
an insurance organization. It can be healthcare, it can be oil and gas, anything. Okay, process.
Mhm. Mhm.
Second, systems. What is systems here? Systems, nothing but what are all the type of systems they are using.
Mhm.
Because organization consists of people. Organization consists of process. To
Mhm.
manage process, you require people.
Right.
What people do? People use some systems. People
Mhm.
use some systems to perform their activity.
Right.
So this is what generally we call it as systems. Systems is what something we need to do. So
Mhm.
systems means what are the different workstations they have. Means laptops, desktops, whatever you can call. What are the systems they are using? Again, systems depending on two different things. If you take banking client as an example, the type of applications what they are using, systems will vary. For example, some applications were on-premise applications.
Mhm.
On-premise means they have their own data center. From the data center, access of that particular application will be done by the employees.
Right.
Then workstations are different.
Mhm.
For example, if it's a cloud one, right? Let's say, for example, it's a cloud application, then it is different.
Mhm.
Because cloud application requirements are different. Means cloud application doesn't require any infrastructure to be managed 100%. So
Mhm.
we require some cloud services. Virtual cloud server will be located in the cloud environment where we require to take the access of the cloud account over. Understood? Clear? Right?
Right. Mhm.
Third one is called applications. Applications means sometime back I told you. What are all applications are they using? I mean, is it on-premise or cloud applications or combination? That we should know. If you
Mhm.
take, for example, bank, there are a couple of applications they use. What are those? For example, they use some core banking application to manage their backend operations. They may require some online banking application to manage online banking transactions of the customer. They may be required some CRM applications, something like Salesforce, Cloud, e-commerce, Dynamics, etc., to manage customer relations. Right? So they may be required some payroll management or ERP systems to manage ERP activities, etc. So there are different requirements, different applications they use. Okay.
Right.
It can be core banking application, it can be CRM, it can be ERP, it can be payroll, it can be online banking, right? So a lot of applications will be used to manage the business activities within the organization. But point to be noted, what are the applications are we using? These applications may have a combination of two, because sometime back I told you, some applications were on-premise, some applications were cloud. For example, customer is using some on-premise application for core banking. Okay, maybe for ERP, they are using some on-premise. On-premise means system application will be installed in their servers, local server, and they are using it.
Right.
But when it comes to the CRM and all, everything were cloud. You know it. Salesforce, Dynamics, all these were cloud applications. Let us assume on a count basis. For example, they have 10 applications they use. 3 applications or 4 applications belongs to on-premise. Remaining 6 applications are cloud. Do you agree? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, to manage this, what is required? You require systems to manage this. Do you agree this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So there must be an interconnect among the systems and applications, which is mandate. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah.
Now, for what purpose systems and applications is required? Because you have to maintain the data. Yes, sir. Right? Data. Data means customer data, I can say. For example, customer list of customer records we have who is having some savings account. The data required and used by multiple people in the organization. For example, front office people required customer data for some purposes. Backend team required customer data for some other purposes, etc. Am I right?
Right.
Depends on the type of role we play. For what purpose data of the customers, let's say as an example of banking, savings bank account. So for what purpose are they using will be different. Understood? Clear?
Right.
So there is a difference. So there is a difference when we try to understand about the data. One thing should understand is called data flow. What is called data flow? How the data is flowing from one system to another system. That is what generally we call it as data flow stands for. Understood, Neelam? Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So data flow we call it as. So if you talk about enterprise architecture or enterprise architect or enterprise architecture means enterprise architecture, if you want to understand, first of all, you should understand what organization is, what process they follow in their organization based on the nature of the job they belongs to. To manage that process, what kind of systems they are using, who going to use it, people are going to use it. What systems they were using, what applications they were using, and how the data flow happened from one to another. So these are 4 important elements to understand enterprise architecture. Understood, Neelam? Clear?
Yes, clear, sir.
Right. So enterprise architecture or role of an enterprise architect should be taken 4 architectures as separate. One is about processes and all. So that's where generally we call it as business architect, which is called business architect role. Now, this is what something which we call it as business architect. You can see over here. This is what generally the business architecture is. What is business architecture? Business architecture is consists of these many things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you are developing some core banking application to one of your customer. First and foremost thing, we must be knowing about their business architecture. Do remember, this is part of EA, enterprise architecture. Means enterprise
Right.
means whole on a high level note.
Right.
So if you want to understand about enterprise, means process, people, systems, applications, data.
Data.
If you want to know that,
Mm-hmm.
first we must be knowing about business architecture.
Okay.
So what business architecture consists of? Business architecture consists of multiple things. As a customer client example I have given, let me relate the same. Right? Let's say, for example, what are the business capabilities this bank having? Next, what their vision, strategy, and tactics are. Because any organization you see
Mm-hmm.
depends on the kind of vision what they wants to reach in future.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the kind of business goals and objectives. The kind of solutions we are developing will be a part of it in order to reach that towards the direction we require. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir. Correct. Yeah.
So vision, strategy, because people are investing not just because of money, right? So it's not
Mm-hmm.
something simply, let's say, for example, core banking application enhancement we are doing. There is an existing core banking application, then why customer is investing you to extend this application to the next level? What could be the reason? There are two reasons. Either the existing process may not be supportive with the existing core banking application. That is point number one.
Mm-hmm.
Point number two, they may have a requirement where they have some business goals and targets which they wants to achieve. In part of it, they want some core banking application to be enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed or not? Right?
Agree. Yeah.
So this is what something which we should understand about vision, strategies, tactics, etc. So business capabilities is one thing. At the same time, we must be knowing about vision, strategies, tactics, etc. All that.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we must be knowing about the policies, rules, and regulations. What are the different policies they are using, right? So what are the rules and regulations of the organization that we must be aware of? I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about what are their business policies, what are their rules and regulations. All these
Right.
things we must be
Mm-hmm.
knowing, right? That is needed because these
Right.
are all bare basic minimum things when you try to understand about business architecture, you must be good with.
Mm-hmm.
Next,
Right.
you must be knowing about who are their customers, who are their partners, who are their
Mm-hmm.
competitors, right? So what is the nature of the business? What are the products and services they are offering? At the
Mm-hmm.
same time, what are the initiatives they are taking or about to take in future? What are the new business expansions or the projects they were about to do?
Mm-hmm.
And to evaluate the performance and all, what are the metrics and measurements do they follow? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So decision events, all these things we should know. This is what something which normally we call it as business architecture.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Understood clear, right?
Clear, sir. Yeah.
So if you make it very simple, business architecture is part of enterprise architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Business architecture detail you about the business elements of the organization. It can be any organization.
Mm-hmm.
Every organization have this list. Whatever the list I have shown you here,
Okay.
this list will be there for every organization, which team has to understand effectively.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Clear, sir. Yeah.
Right. So this is what something which we call it as business architecture. We call it as business
Mm-hmm.
architecture is one which normally we do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is where generally under enterprise architecture, there are
Mm-hmm.
four, as I stated. Let me write.
Mm-hmm.
This enterprise architecture consists of one, business architecture. Right. So business architecture consists of the things which I have explained you so far.
Mm-hmm.
Second, systems architecture. Is this understood now? Clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear now.
Right. So this is what enterprise architecture.
Mhm.
So to do this, there are some roles called enterprise architect or chief architect, which is all something comes under the business oriented part. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Understood? Clear?
Clear, sir. Yeah.
So remaining, I will discuss it tomorrow. Okay.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I will discuss these things tomorrow.
Okay. All right. No problem.
I'm just getting better now since last
Mhm.
week's,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
You take care of your health. Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Bye-bye.
right. So I will discuss it tomorrow. Hmm?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.